Hey everybody, and welcome back. It's been a while. I honestly feel like I'm recording my first video because I don't remember the last time I was here, probably a month ago. Today I'm here by myself, your host, your favorite drunken bookworm twink supreme. Obviously, I have not done my March wrap up. If you are wondering why it's taken me so long to wrap up these books that I have not wrapped up yet, it's because there's really only one reason. My friend got me to try playing this game on the PlayStation called Resident Evil Biohazard.
Got her. I fucking got her, and it was epic. You should have seen it. Oh my god, I was like nearly dead, and she was like fucking me in the ass, and I was like slashing all the fucking spiders in this place, and I was like, and she was like right behind me, killing me, and then I got the shotgun shells, and then I was like, fuck you!
Which is the game before Resident Evil 8 Village, which just came out today actually, so I've been playing that. Good stuff. I've been very obsessed. I love zombies. I love scary games so much. If you have any recommendations for some reason, be sure to drop them down below. Today I will attempt to alleviate the idle status of this channel. Okay, I will try my best to not waste too much of your time. So I'm just gonna go down the list. I'm gonna say the title, I'm gonna say the rating I gave it, and then I'm gonna say a couple things and we will move right along, okay? Okay. So the first book I want to talk about is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5. It's good for the most part, and for the most part I mean the first 2 acts. But the finale is just really, really weak. I can't even remember who was responsible for the Actually, wait, I kind of do. Yeah, and I wasn't too impressed. I did love this setting, however, it is very cold, unforgiving, very The Shining. And I really love the trope they use in this book of somebody who is traumatized and they have to face their own trauma regardless of whether they want to or not, and we get to see them in this very pressure cooker-like situation and wonder, oh no, are they gonna crack? What's gonna happen? Oh shit, can she do this? And I liked that, but again, the ending and the conclusion was just like a huge freaking amazing build-up to meh. You know, that's the best word I can describe this third act, just meh. So the second book I want to talk about is The Inheritance Games. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. The first act is just so painfully dull because it's so much, it's like Princess Diaries. It's this girl who's like a plain whatever, and she discovers that she was chosen by this random rich guy to inherit all his shit, very Knives Out, very Princess Diaries. And when she inherits all his shit, like his grandsons are like pissed. They're like, we were his grandsons for our whole lives, and this random bitch is getting all this shit. And so we spend most of the time trying to, alongside this bitch whose name I forgot, and she tries to figure out why she was chosen to inherit all this money. So much of this book is just her getting used to being a rich bitch, like, oh, you have to do some media training, oh, you have to get a hair appointment, oh, you have to get used to all this money in this big house. All the things to give shits about in the world, like this random girl's money and beautiful new life, like who cares? And then the fun stops every time a subplot involving romance shows up, and it's just so heavy-handed and so forced and cringy. It was just so corny and distracted big time from the main story that I was actually kind of trying to be invested in. But in the end, it was just like one of those, why am I reading about these rich kids I don't care about? Didn't connect with any of the characters, didn't care about any of the characters. Forced myself to finish the book, wanted it to be over, desperately had some fun here and there. Overall, not a good time. So the next 7 books are actually manga, and that is Attack on Titan, volumes 28 to 34, and oh, where do I even begin? This is the best manga series I have ever read in my entire life. Period. Done. I don't think anything could top this. I really don't. Pretty sure Hajime Isayama wrote this finale on cocaine, and I love him for it. And honestly, even the anime too, which I am a huge fan of, is the best that anime has to offer, in my opinion. Well, the Attack on Titan anime is pretty much better than every single TV show / anime I've seen in my entire life, so if they manage to hit the landing as well as I hope they do, this will probably be the best anime ever made, and I am not exaggerating. I love it that much. So the next book I read was also another finale, and that is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, this series is just everything. I have a video on my channel where I ranked this entire series from worst to best. If you are somebody who is new to Throne of Glass and wants to know more about how good these books are, link to this video over here is down in the description, but let's talk about Kingdom of Ash for now. Let's talk about the grand finale of the longest fantasy series, book series in general I have ever read. Oh my gosh, like Aylin's journey from being in the salt mines of Endovier to becoming the true warrior that she is at the end of this series is exhilarating and poignant and an overall breathtaking ride. I've grown to love pretty much every single character, even the villains, especially, oh my god, the villains. I don't want to say who they are, because there are huge plot twists about who the villains in this series are, in case you haven't read any of the books, but if you know, you know. I was cheering for the villains at some points in this book because they were just so amazing to read about, and I love them. So I gave this one 4.5 stars, and the reason I gave it that number is because it's not necessarily too consistent in terms of enjoyment. The book before this one, Empire of Storms, ends with a problem, and they spend this much of the book dealing with that problem, and then this much of the book is like a really weak connective tissue leading up to this giant final battle. So the solving of the problem was really good, the final battle was really good, but that chunk in the middle, the connective tissue, was just not, it could have been a bit more lean. This book didn't have to be 980 pages. As much as I loved it and I did cry, I still maintain the fact that this isn't perfect, although the series as a whole is perfection, and I love it. Queen of Shadows is still the best though. On a more negative note, I did read another Sarah J. Maas series, and I am not as enthusiastic about this one, sadly. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses is the next book I read after this, and oh my gosh. I gave this book 1 star. I hated this book with every fiber of my being. It is one of the worst books I have ever read in my entire life. Stick a fork in it. It's awful. Period. Done. I couldn't believe that these books were written by the same author. Throne of Glass, which was just so action-packed and epic, and the protagonist was confident and bitchy. Meanwhile, we have this Beauty and the Beast retelling where the protagonist is just the most annoying. Ugh, like, I have many words I want to use to describe her, but I don't want to get cancelled. But I having to read from Feyre's point of view was torture. It was absolute torture. And the love interest in this book, Tamlin, was the most, oh my gosh, like, I wanted to tear my hair out whenever these two were on screen, whenever they opened their mouths, whenever they interacted with each other. I wanted to DNF this book so bad. But for some reason I powered through. There was action in the finale, and it was super fucking lame. It was just so screechy and melodramatic, and love is the answer, and I don't give a But because I am a Sarah J. Maas fan, I decided to give this series a second chance. The book I read after this is A Court of Mist and Fury. Now, Court of Thorns and Roses. Awful, gave it 1 star. Court of Mist and Fury. Oh my god, Sarah J. Maas. She did that. I gave this book 5 stars. I love this book so much. Oh my god, it was iconic. I don't know what happened. I don't know what she did in this. I don't know how she did this. I don't know how she was able to take that material and elevate it to that level of a book in just 1 sequel. Like, normally series, like, they start off awful and they normally get good towards the end. This one was just like the opposite of a nose. What's the opposite of a nosedive? From down here, she zoomed up here, and I'm like, how? Actually, I know how. Resand? It... So Tamlin in the other book was just horrible, but wow, there were some choices and they worked. There was world building, there was more action, there was more agency for Feyre, which I was like, okay, thanks. Also the ending, oh my god, I got goosebumps at the implication of that scene. Because this is Feyre 2.0. She isn't that useless bitch from the first book. Okay, so the book I read after this was Stephen King's latest, called Later. Like what I did there, just kidding. I'm sorry. I gave this book 3.5 stars out of 5. It's not the best Stephen King book, but it's not the worst Stephen King book. So as usual, amazing characters, interesting story direction, dragged a bit in the middle. The plot twist at the end, however, was just really awful. It was just unnecessary and stupid. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna say what it is here. I'm not gonna even allude to it because it would be easy to guess, but it was just so completely out of nowhere and unnecessary. I did, however, love the relationship between Jamie and his mother. It reminded me so much of the mother and son relationship in the film The Sixth Sense by M. Night Shyamalan. So that is it. That is my March wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. Like and comment and subscribe. Follow me on my Bookstagram at McKay's Bookstagram. I hope to see you in future videos. But until then, take care.
I lose myself